In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Hafide, and welcome everyone to another edition of In Full Zoom. I'm Nestor Licanto, and this week we have actually two guests. Jim Oehlerking, the CEO of IT&E, and a little bit later we'll be talking to Bernie Valencia, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Matson, and who just won a really nice award, Women in Supply Chain. But first we'll talk to Jim. Jim's here because IT&E just made a major acquisition. So let me ask you, Jim, tell us about why you IT&E purchased iConnect.
Yeah, well, we've been working with iConnect for actually quite a while on looking at combining our assets and buying their facilities, because when you look at the demand from the marketplace and 5G and other technologies, wireless home internet, it really is very demanding as far as what the spectrum requirements are. And by us acquiring the iConnect assets, it really positions us well, I think, to provide a continuing high level of quality service to the customer base, both now and well into the future. So it aligned very well, both from a business standpoint as well as a technology and spectrum asset standpoint.
Yeah, so iConnect, if we go back into its history, it purchased, people might remember about 20 years ago, the assets from Motorola. And then it's known primarily for many years as a push-to-talk service, but they've expanded, I think, into cell phones and internet. So talk a little bit about that unique feature, the push-to-talk aspect of the acquisition.
Yeah, and well, again, we're happy to add that into our overall portfolio, the Motorola push-to-talk capability. I'm actually a long-term 20-some year Motorola guy, so I'm very familiar with it. And I think it does have a good and significant market application that we're happy to roll into our overall product portfolio. But really, the acquisition of iConnect is just sort of part of some of our ongoing activities ever since our partnership with SK Telecom that we brought in. We felt that was, creating a good platform for us to continue to expand. They're a technology leader, and we've got a good partnership with them. So we've been looking for continuing ways to expand our offerings. We just acquired a large portion of a new spectrum in an auction, CBRS spectrum that we just acquired. That's also applicable to either 5G service or it gets used in wireless home internet services a lot. There was a nationwide auction, and we've got a very large amount of spectrum in both Guam and CNMI that we are also adding in with what we've just acquired with iConnect.
Yeah, I forgot that you had spent so many years with Motorola back in Chicago, I believe. So this purchase, this transaction would be essentially transparent to most customers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, part of the structure we set up with iConnect was to make sure that it was from their customer standpoint, we're offering the same types of service packages, same pricing as iConnect, or something even at a lower price for maybe more data. So we're covering all their current plans, so their subscribers will be able to move over with no negative impact on what they've been getting from iConnect directly. And we're working with iConnect to do that as seamlessly as possible over the next several months.
Right, and so you've also acquired the Saipan operation as well?
Yeah, all the cellular and IDEN assets in the iConnect portfolio is what we've brought over.
Yeah, and you mentioned 5G, and every time I talk to someone, an executive in the telecom space, they always mention 5G, 5G, 5G. So what is the latest with 5G for IT&E?
Well, we do it because you guys always keep asking about it. So actually, when we started looking at iConnect, the acquisition of iConnect and their spectrum sort of has changed our and actually enhanced our 5G rollout ideas. It's going to allow us to have a larger portion of the island that we can actually offer 5G on. We looked at possibly rolling out 1 or 2 cell sites of 5G, but we really felt that really wasn't going to create too much of a difference for the marketplace. But with the acquisition of the spectrum from iConnect, we're going to be able to offer a much broader footprint when we do roll out 5G next year. So it has allowed it slowed us down a little bit on our 5G plans, but I think it's going to allow us to come up with a much better service offering when we do roll it out.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
In this transition from 4G to the next generation, the 5G, when do you think that will happen? When actually 5G will be the dominant service? Is it going to be when the handsets become more available, or what's going to be the tipping point there?
Well, I think you're going to see, if you look at markets like Korea, Japan, others that are leading on this, they've tried to keep the handset costs as close as possible to the 4G price points. It's a little bit more. But I think the driver over time is going to be some of the new applications on 5G, because really there isn't much on 5G or anything I had 5G right now, because we don't have self-driving cars. We're not doing remote surgery with 5. So over time, the applications are going to get built up that will drive 5G being more and more dominant. But 4G is going to be around for a long time. If you look at GSM technology and some of the others, there's a significant runway on technology changes of this magnitude.
Yeah, but if you're in the telecom space, you have to get to 5G because everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah.
It's the price of poker. Well, and it is the foundation of what, all the ongoing future applications are going to be running on. So you need to do it. It's just a very hectic time in the industry because it is a major change to roll it out and to get it working well and in a cost-effective manner.
Yeah. Speaking of, well, actually, I wanted to ask how the pandemic has changed the industry, if at all.
Oh, we're a critical utility, right? So we've had to keep up and operational, and actually in the lockdown with people at home and working from home and remote education, we've seen a significant increase in demands on data speeds and capacity. So it's been really hectic to address that and keep a safe working environment for our employees. But we've worked through it and been fairly fortunate through the lockdown and pandemic period. But some of the things we've done is we have an online store where people can actually go in and buy phones, sign up, and we now offer home delivery. So we've tried to come up with and be as touchless as we can. And still, if somebody's, needs a new phone or their phone breaks or whatever, to try and give them an online option to sign up for that. And then we do a remote home delivery for them.
Yeah. I kind of think that the pandemic has kind of accelerated the move towards more online services. In the news business, I've been conducting my work essentially from home since, the whole we return back to P Core 1. I know bankers have been encouraging customers to do more of their transactions online. So it's been sort of kind of pushed what was inevitable, I think, anyways, more towards online.
Yeah, no, it has sped up the process. I mean, things have been going much more digital and online. This just, I think, sped it up considerably.
Yeah, and what else do you see in terms of the telecom industry? What are your what are the next goals for IT&E beyond the acquisition of iConnect?
Well, I mean, one of the big things we're working on and pushing and working in conjunction with the government and the school systems is remote education. Because again, people have done it to some level or another over time. But again, this has pushed us into the deep end, and there's some pitfalls and issues that are going to come up over time to make the remote education experience as fulfilling as possible, and also as cost-effective as possible. So remote education, remote medical services, again, those are directions we are working on already with the different government entities, but it's just accelerated it all. And again, doing it well and making it as reasonably cost-effective as possible to deliver it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering from a personal perspective, from your days way back in Motorola to now running IT&E here in Guam, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry? Because it seems like it should be a huge difference from back then to now. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it's. I mean, from way back when it's huge, but even back. If you look 7 years ago, 10 years ago, one of the things you've seen is the gap between the leadership countries in technology and the rest of the world has tightened up tremendously. I mean, I can tell you right now, the data speeds here on Guam that I see are as fast or faster than what I have in Chicago, where I came from. The overall performance and the customers' expectations have tightened up. I mean, everybody's looking at the latest iPhone. I have the new Samsung Note 20, and other people do. I mean, people want the latest technology and they expect it to perform the same way. I mean, but if you look, actually not too many years ago, the level of expectation on network performance and data throughput was significantly different for markets the size of Guam, but now it's tightened up it's comparable with the rest of the world. And I don't see it going anywhere but staying at par with what everybody else has in operation.
Yeah, in talking to you and your other two colleagues in the so-called big three of Telecom here in Guam, I think that's a similar comment, is that we are fortunate here on Guam for a market of this size to have the sort of high-tech access that we do have.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again, it's a highly competitive market, and again, that's tough for the operators, but it's good for the customers. And I think it's going to keep Guam on the leading edge of the offerings that they can get. And we're actually really pretty lucky for a market of this size.
Yeah, we're absolutely fortunate to be on the leading edge of this sort of technology, which kind of drives commerce throughout the world. Thank you very much, Jim, and congratulations once again on the acquisition of iConnect, and hopefully that works out well for the company, for IT&E. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Nestor, and we're excited, and I think it's going to be a very good result for us and our customers.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back and talk with Bernie Valencia of Matson. Don't go away.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Welcome back, everyone. And our second guest for this edition of In Full Zoom is none other than Bernie Valencia, who is the Vice President and General Manager of Matson, and also recently awarded the Women in Supply Chain Award from Supply and Demand Chain Executive Magazine, one of the leading magazines for their particular industry. Congratulations, Bernie.
Hi, Jason. Or I'm sorry. Hi, Nestor. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. So tell us a little bit about the award and what your reaction was when it was announced.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's an award that honors female supply chain leaders and executives from around the world. And it just honors our accomplishments and mentorship and setting a foundation for how women lead in their jobs in the supply chain industry. So it's really neat, nice surprise for me. I was nominated by a coworker in Oakland and received the results sometime in September. So yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, and just for people who may not be familiar, what is your main responsibility as the Vice President and General Manager of the Guam and Micronesia operation?
I handle Guam, Micronesia, and Okinawa, both sales, customer service, and operations. We handle the ships that come from the U.S. West Coast here on a weekly basis, plus the small ships that go and service Micronesia, including our partners like Kiowa and Mel and Cabras Marine, who carry some of our cargo to the other islands when the large ships come here to Guam. So operations, sales, customer service, and obviously a lot of the government affairs and community relations type stuff too. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I know we might have talked earlier in the pandemic, going now on, I guess, 7 months. But so how has the pandemic affected your operations, if at all, over the past 6 or 7 months?
Well, it has affected us significantly, both in Guam and Hawaii, and even in Okinawa. Our volumes have come down, mainly because of everything shutting down, right? So you have tourism, you have the retail, you have the wholesale industry. We have a large of commercial businesses, especially the wholesalers who distribute to, for example, the tourism industry and the large stores. And a lot of the small businesses that are suffering too. So that's affected us. But what Matson has done is that we have re-looked at our business model and made changes and adapted some of our businesses to basically, I guess, take advantage or capitalize on the lack of air cargo space that was available. And we doubled our capacity between China and Long Beach to help pick up some of that air cargo capacity that was lost, and now have a lot of the essential goods that we're using because of COVID, where we've been able to pick up that business between China and the United States.
Yeah, I was going to say that the shipping industry is one of the indicators of, like an island like Guam, of our economic activity. And as you said, the amount of business activity has gone down because of COVID. Are you seeing any, looking ahead, any potential for that to go up, or what is your projections in particular for the next fiscal year?
Well, I think for our region, it'll continue to be challenging until there could be some solution to this pandemic, right? So for now, what's most important for us is to provide everybody some guarantees, ensure that our services continue so that they don't have to worry about that. I know that, supply of certain things are short, but if we ensure the community that all the goods will still continue to come, then everyone else can take care of the more important things, like taking care of the family and taking care of things. So for next year, we see it, unfortunately, pretty much the same. It's so hard to to try and look at what 2021 is going to be like, with the changes that we've all encountered this year, right? So it's hard to project. So the best we can say is much of the same, and hopefully some improvements. And when that happens, we'll be here to help the community through those improvements.
In addition to the drop in volume, have you seen any changes in the types of goods that are being shipped into Guam?
Yeah, I think you'll see that globally. So the need for the PPE, the need for what may be termed as essential products have certainly increased, right? You might not have the same brands that you were used to 6 months ago, but those products continue to come in. And then obviously, medical supplies and things like that. Not just Guam, I'm not just talking about Guam, but it's really the whole region, right? Hawaii, Micronesia, Okinawa, things like that. It's really essential goods that are coming in.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Have you noticed if manufacturers stateside or the sources where our wholesalers and retailers are getting their goods, have they kind of ramped down production, and has that affected the supply to our wholesalers and retailers?
I don't know that we'd call it ramping down. Again, the wholesalers and retailers know better than I do, because we really carry their cargo into Guam, whatever they book with us. But what the wholesalers will tell you is that their orders aren't able to be filled, right? So they might order, say, X many containers of a certain PPE, and their supplier in the States might only provide them with half a container full or X many cases full. So because they are dealing with the increased demand and supply throughout the whole nation and not just Guam. So fortunately, if you have good relationships with your suppliers, they will make sure that they allocate some of what they have to the wholesalers or retailers on Guam.
Yeah, for the average household, I think the items that they are most aware of are groceries. What can you say about the grocery supply?
Well, we've been coming regularly on a weekly basis and transshipping all the cargo to Micronesia. So I would hope that everything is still on stock. I would say to always give your retailers, the groceries, some time to restock the cargo. Our ships come in on time, 91% of the time, every week, right? So when those ships come in on Tuesday morning, obviously it needs to get from the port to their warehouses, and then from their warehouses through their distribution channel. So everyone just needs to allow the retailers and grocers to be able to put those on the shelves and restock them. And don't forget, these guys are essential. They're working long hours too, right? It's difficult for them, and with a smaller staff, sometimes it's difficult for them to get everything out timely. But for the most part, things are there. And I think the whole community has done a great job being patient. And I think that's all I could do. If anything I could do is help our customers, is ask everyone to be patient, because everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. Speaking of the industry in general, I think one of the things that has always been a challenge for the shipping industry here is that the containers come in full and they go out not so full. Have you had an opportunity to, over the years, kind of figure out how you might kind of balance that equation more?
Well, it's true. The containers come in full into Guam. We do help with a lot of more recyclables and waste and cardboard that leaves Guam, and then people leaving islands. So it's not the same balance, but it's really important for us. I spoke about China earlier. It's really important for us to get empties to China, because from China to the U.S. mainland, those containers are full. So they're not truly empty all the way to Long Beach. So when we have a certain time for our containers to be with our customers, we take those empties to China, and that's where they are chock-a-block full. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to say something optimistic about not just the shipping industry, but the economy in general, because obviously, shipping is an important part of our economy. I mean, 90% of the goods that arrive on Guam come through the port, and a good majority of that come through Matson. So tell us something bright and sunny for a change about our economy.
Yeah, well, number
Something
one,
positive.
yeah, well, Matson is here, right? We're committed. We're celebrating 25 years next year. We're going to be here, good or bad. So, as difficult as it gets, it's going to be challenging. Our top priority should be the health and safety of everybody on island, right? We make sure we continue our service. We're mainly focusing what we're doing now on community support. Anything we could do, whether it's helping with the food banks and supporting all the things on island that are helping us get through this COVID, that's what we're doing. It's not really about sales and business. It's about how we help the community get through this. So we've refocused our whole community support to in-kind services for things that are needed like that. And we need to hang in there. We need to make health and safety our number one priority so that we can have a better 2021. And we need to do it all together. I know everyone says that, but Nestor, you hear it all the time, right? Wear a mask. If everyone sits at home, we don't wear a mask. So it's better that people come out so that they're forced to wear a mask and stay safe and not spread the virus.
Yes, ma'am. Stay safe and stay positive, because we will get through this. Thank you very much. Bernie Valencia, Vice President and General Manager of Matson on Guam and Micronesia, and the winner of the Women in Supply Chain Award for 2020. Congratulations again on that. Thanks a lot, Bernie.
Thanks, Nestor. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
All right. That'll do it for us for this edition of In Full Zoom. I'm Nestor Licanto. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.